We recently did an episode on framing, on political framing, and it's the thing that it's like the only thing I'm thinking about. And for anyone out there who's not familiar with the concept, I'm sure you both are. The reason I did the episode is somebody skied it on Blue Sky. If you're against all of the things in the quote unquote big beautiful bill that has been put forward, sort of not by the president, but through Congress at the whim of the president, stop calling it the big beautiful bill. And what I saw at night is, people who were quite against the policies within it would say Trump's so-called big beautiful bill, and they would do the air quotes and they would be snide and sarcastic about it. However, they had already entered the president's framing. We keep hearing big beautiful bill, big beautiful bill. We're going to think it's a big bill. It's maybe not the most beautiful, but it's a little bit beautiful. The framing is more powerful than anything. And in your example, Emma, you've got social justice versus woke agenda. These are two frames, and no amount of facts, no like statistics that you bring up on the wall and photographs, you will never, ever be able with facts to break somebody out of their frame. It's nearly impossible. This is, I've been reading the books of, George Lakoff and the words of Frank Luntz, these notions of once a thing has been decided, once we start calling something, for example, a partial birth abortion, which is a non-existent term in the medical community, once we start using the shift from global warming to climate change, these words that we use to define problems, and again, social justice versus woke agenda, you can't get out of them. So how do you get out of them? There's a phenomenal guy named Ben Klutzy who works at George Mason University, he's sort of like working in a pluralist or pluralism institute. He says, to have a conversation with somebody with whom you disagree, it will not be possible unless three steps are met. Three adamantine rules. These are like
Ooh,
ironclad.
adamantine. Wow.
Adamantine. Is that even a real element, or is that just an X-Men element?
I'm not sure, but it's a good word regardless.
It is inexcusable and adamantine. But here's the three adamantine rules. Number one, it has to be done with respect at the outset. You cannot say something that disrespects him, and he cannot say something that disrespects you. You have to talk to each other with respect. And if you screw up, you have to say, sorry, 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 sorry. That's like the base foundation. Number two is honesty. Honesty is you have to say the real reason you're feeling something. I think a lot about my father, who was very against same sex marriage in the 1980s and 1990s. And he would have all these sort of willowy side reasons why he was against it. It was about taxes, and it was about, well, I could marry my best friend and get a tax break. And I'm like, Dad, what's your real problem, Dad? And it was not about the taxes. You have to be honest about why you feel that way. And step number three, adamantine rule number three, is curiosity. You actually have to be curious. Why do you think this way? How does it affect you? And if you have those three things met, you're going to be able to talk to each other. Another one is don't try to change somebody's mind. I've heard that, but I can't help myself, Emma. I try to do it all the time. I love trying to change people's mind, but I'm willing to have my own changed. So that's a good tip for anybody who's trying to have a civil conversation with somebody with whom they disagree.